And who would be joining us?
Possibly Mr. DoW2 replays himself, Mr. Indrid.
Wow,
So
that
we're
would be
just
an
gonna
honor.
have the full lineup tonight. So once again, War Boss versus Lord Commissar. So you feel like this map is possibly favored more towards the Imperial Guard?
Well, if I'm honest, I kind of think 1v1 in general favors Imperial Guard, just because they're all about the early map pressure, and Sentinels deliver that in a perfect manner. But obviously, this assumes perfect play, and we're humans, so that doesn't happen. So, and as Cortella pointed out quite rightly, orcs have very nice access to heavy range damage. In fact, I would have really liked to see, on this map a Luta from Badash, because it's quite a nice Luta map, and they can infiltrate and put out ridiculous amounts of range damage, suppress anything for like stick bombers to go in later, and of course having an AV upgrade is always nice.
Oh man, just got a message from Twilali. Looks like someone took him out.
Shocker.
Oh my. A lot of upsets today.
Well, as I always say, like this is like as humans, like our form varies from day to day, so favorites rarely ever take the tournament, you know.
Yeah, we've got Dark Riku and Twilali out of the game, so
Steve, I'm sure is still going pretty strong. He seems sharp
yeah,
today.
Steve surprisingly put some real hurt. Ooh, a little connection there between the Lord Commissar and the Sentinel trying to path by each other. But yeah, as you say, this early pressure, I mean, it looks like so long as this is played right, this is going to be another engagement for the Imperial Guard, and as soon as these orcs fall off the map, you know, you can just about guarantee those guardsmen are going to roll up, put a turret down on the power, and keep that power pressure on.
Grunk kited his west side guardsmen very well, like keeping them in play. Now he can turn around and well, if I were him, I would pressure these sluggers and force them to stop decapping.
Yeah, it looks like
it's a bit
that's going to
slow
be the
now.
plan.
It's a bit slow. Like he could have done that a bit earlier and not allowed the decap. Now he's got the decap for almost nothing. Just turn around and chase this GM.
Working on that gear up, boss. Getting the power thingy up, boss.
Caligen's out, same as usual.
Yep, and it looks like, let's see, only one generator up. Looks like the shooters are gonna, or the sluggers rather, are gonna just hang back, cap a little more. Don't want to go in too far. Looks like that. I'd say that's a good call from Badash. They'd probably just get overextended, especially with that Sentinel coming in. Probably wouldn't have the time to take out a generator and would just have to fall back anyways.
Right now he can consolidate on map control, get out these big shooters and shooter knobs if he wants them, which will be very useful, and then he'll have the map control and can then press generators for a big advantage. But if I were him, I would get another squad, because those Caligens are going to tear up any ideas that he's got right now.
So cunning and masterful.
So Commissar moving into the center, got Catechins and Guardsmen getting ready to swarm out of the base on all fronts.
If I were him, I would use the Sentinel to like decap a more natural wreck of my opponents, because I know that he's only got one slugger and is in retreat. And if I can take that out, I can use my more immobile units to cap the VP, like he is doing now. I wouldn't even go for the VP, go for the wreck. VP's
Yeah, I mean, wreck is so important for orcs in general because orcs do just tend to bleed, and they've got kind of that middle of the road squad size, where it's not super expensive, but you know they aren't super durable either. So it's easy to pick off lots of models, and that bleed certainly racks up against orc. So robbing them of requisition just really matters a lot, especially in the mid to late game.
I mean, this Commissar's just, I think he's taking a little bit too much damage for free, but at the same time, these Sentinels can start to just force off the slugger. And look at this map control he's going to be getting back.
Yeah, he's going to have pretty much the whole map to himself. Guardsmen are moving up. Slugga's
stomp.
going to get forced off with a beautiful stomp right there, and Catechins are moving in, going to start decapping that requisition. Sentinel's getting the other natural rec point, and Badash is going to have almost no points left to himself, although a little oversight. Grunk should be getting his natural requisition back. That's already up to fully matured plus 30 for Badash.
Finally getting a Luta out though, but look, he's going to get... It's such a beautiful maneuver that Grunk just did. Like, 2 small engagements and he's swept up the map. Denied all the map control in this game, the Gem Bash. Great play.
Yeah, this is really going to work out well. Has the flamers on his guardsman, which we actually don't see too much, but he decided to go for that over getting the las cannon turret.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, I think he should have got the 4 squad out earlier to prevent this sort of move.
No, entirely. I think the loot is against Imperial Guard, too, are just so very useful. If he had that out earlier, you know, he would have, you know, if nothing else, been able to lock down this power farm and prevent this guard squad from getting in on it. I think
right
overall, Badash has been playing a little minimalist, just been kind of depending on those 2 shoot-a-boy squads. Just like last game in Tier 1, I was saying he kind of needs to react to the heavier Tier 1 to prevent that threat from overrunning him. I mean, as you say, Imperial Guard do have that strong Tier 1 map control presence, and if you let it run amok, it's gonna bite you.
Grunk's using his catechins well, like using the smoke bomb, using the all reliable and the IEDs really well. Like,
I mean, they're a squad that if you actually use all their abilities, you can maximize their effectiveness just so much higher than, you know, attack moving around or something like that. If you're using the explosives, using the smokes, keeping them healthy, keeping them on the field, like they're just always such a constant threat no matter where they are.
you know, like indirectly as well, like putting the IED there, even if it doesn't damage anything.
It takes time, and time is a resource that people often, you know, don't really consider. It's like, oh, well, I could put that there, but they're just going to break it. And it's like, well, that's time that they're not capping. That's time they're not moving their army around as a force. You can't move over that position because, you know, obviously it'll explode even if you shoot it.
So let's say, like, we would say that the last push, Badash took that rather decisively, but he only got a VP and getting a wreck back now. Like, it's not looking good.
Yeah, he actually ended up not being able to take out much in the ways of power. And now we've got this Orc force pushing up on him. The Slug is actually beelining it straight to the power farm. I'm not sure about that
Slug
entirely.
should contribute to the fight before trying to get that. It's just, like, they're going to have to retreat now, and they haven't even got half a gen. Is he going to even retreat?
He might be distracted. Looks like he's trying to kite around, and he finally pulls him back.
It's going through the stomp range. It's going to
Oh
go through
man,
the stomp range.
if he stomps, there goes the stomp. It hits. All it is going to take is a few more volleys down to 30 HP. It looks like that lead member got away, so he's going to be alright.
Commissar's dead. And he's in a bad position now.
Oh my gosh, if the Sentinel goes down, he's going to...
It's down.
Oh! Warboss just smashes it into the ground. The heavy weapons team opens fire a bit too late to prevent that from happening.
Badash doing exactly the right thing. He's got a couple squads, or a leader and a squad. It's now time to press the advantage. Nice flare, but it's not going to make a difference. He's going to lose his gens anyway.
Yeah, that's 2 generators down. At least the node is going to go down in addition to that. The 3rd generator might stay standing, depending on what kind of pressure those catechins put up. Those shooters can just get right back up and keep pouring fire in until those catechins get closer.
Okay, here I don't think it's a good idea to go straight to tier 2. I know he'll be a bit behind, but I think it's better to get out the Commissar, get a bit of map presence again, and get to tier 2 a bit later. Get a las cannon if you see a vehicle. It's just you need the map presence first.
Right. Yeah, he finally pulls his Commissar back. But as you say, there's not much point going into tier 2 if you're not going to have, you know, if you're going to sacrifice the map for it. I mean, you don't get any, when you invest in tiering up, you know, you're not getting any immediate return on those resources. So it's something you have to consider when you're on the back foot as it is.
I think that's a waste. He can't keep spamming his energy. That gains almost nothing.
Yeah, he's been a little, I feel, a little over trigger finger, you know, on the grenades there. He's got to keep the catechin energy up. Like, as I was saying, you know, it's if you use them to their maximum potential, they can be such a threat, but at the same time, you don't just want to be spamming abilities when it doesn't win you anything. You can see Badash was actually waiting for that gen bash. He had his sluggers just kind of waiting to intercept the flamers. They went around the other way, but the sluggers were still close enough to stop that impending gen bash, and those slugger flamers actually do some pretty nice AoE damage to that guardsman squad.
If I were him, I would have retreated those guardsmen and then executed them. when they're out of melee range. I mean, it would have been a really nice time. I mean, the looters weren't set up, and his army was ready to support them on quite reasonably short order.
So the Chimera is going to be coming out here shortly. Neither side really on too much of a back foot. Grunk had lost his Lord Commissar, had lost his Sentinel, but at this stage in the game, he's kind of bringing it back. He did take out a lot of the wreck for Badash for a while. But Badash still going to be able to make these concentrated pushes. Going to be able to probably take him off the field one more time before that Chimera comes on. Although he needs to be pulling that Commissar into the Luda range of fire. He's not really using those shooters effectively. He didn't really kite the correct direction. Had he pulled that Commissar in, he could have suppressed him and had those shooter boys contributing their serious DPS a while ago. And now these Sluggers in a lot of trouble. Gonna have to retreat through that Catachin power melee. One more volley. There it goes. Finished off with the Melta shot to the back.
His looters need. Oh, that was a fail.
Oh,
Reliable. His looters needed to be in a more supporting position.
A flare drops down. I mean, the looters, I feel like, weren't honestly even in too bad of a position, but I feel like he pulled, like I said, he kind of kited the wrong direction, allowed that Commissar to disrupt longer than he should have.
Well, the thing is, like, if you look at aiming, what's that? Suppression on demand. It's an amazing ability. You can suppress a key unit at any time, and at this point, you can use this to move your looter into a flanking position and just lay into like the flank and exploit this time. And that would have probably been a good plan, just because his formation just got pulled apart. His sluggers charged towards the enemy base and got isolated. His shooters were being like taken out because they weren't covered by the looter. You know what I mean? It wasn't a good engagement.
Yeah, and now suddenly, you know, we're seeing the tables turn yet again. Like, despite a pretty solid early game from Badash, he's down to 3 squads to Grunk's 5, plus he's got a vehicle, which Badash has no answer for. I mean, he can upgrade the looters to get the beamy, sure, but it's going to be...
Grunk could get far more active, though. Like, his Chimera could be ferrying stuff around, threatening the gem bash. Like, right now, Badash is free to move into the center. If he had just threatened the gen bash, he would not be free to move into the center, you know? Like, just throwing his Catachins in, just spawning those infiltrated looters. Right now, Badash is under very little pressure. I mean, look, he used Flare here.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, he's using all of his resources very frivolously. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, with the Catachin energy, now we're seeing Flares dropped fairly consistently. He used one in the last engagement, used it again. Nice Luda ambush up top, though.
But see, if he had done, like, put Catachins in, put Guardsmen in, moved up, he would have spotted that, and then he would not be able to do anything. And then that would have been a perfect time to also flare up, you know? But, like, he's used the flare frivolously. All he has to do is just kite out of it, and that's not a problem.
So Chimera's moving up. Yeah, we've got Tank Busters and a Looted Beaming. So this Chimera's going to have to be a bit more careful. Ooh, big shot from the Looted. Look at how much damage that does. Almost takes it down to half HP.
Well, right now, this Chimera is going to be a micro sync for Grunk, and it's going to be much more likely for him to lose something, I think.
Ooh, a nice blind Tank Buster shot, but didn't quite connect.
Aye, boss.
Just a little short of its target.
Well, this is the problem that Grunk's having, because, you know, after he won that quite decisive engagement, he's kind of being passive again. And look, Badash has more, like 41 more wreck income than him because of upkeep. And Badash is giving away back. He's got 241 power already. He can get a T3 unit pretty soon.
Now, this is the thing I feel a lot of people discount, is that you'll win some engagements and then feel like, oh, well, my opponent came back with just a huge force after I killed so much. And, you know, when you have those larger armies, when you've got the larger upkeep, you need to be putting that into doing something. You can't just sit around. I don't know why he didn't retreat. He just sat there and took it. Chimera getting patched up. Catachin's trying to keep those shooter boys at bay, and that was kind of just a weird engagement for Badash.
Badash is desperate. Badash was acting desperate, like decapping under fire from a heavy weapons team.
But I feel like he's not in a position where he needs to act desperate. I mean, he's down by 100 VPs, but
all he had to do was sit back and consolidate.
Certainly.
Get a unit, and he would be pretty good. Like, like the thing is, right now, like map control is actually okay, and he was losing the wreck. But he could have maneuvered to defend that instead of attacking this central VP.
And again, he, you know, he forced off those shooters, but to what avail? He took tons of damage on his catechins. They're only down a single model, so they're not even going to be able to get much healthier off of that Chimera. And he kind of just went up, pushed him off, and now he's just sitting back again.
I mean, right now Grunk is trying to like play very defensive, kind of do little forays into enemy territory. I mean, since Badash actually got a weird boy, it's not the worst idea, because Badash isn't going T3 anytime soon, but it would be more accurate to sit out on his gens and kind of expand into map control around his generators rather than be so passive.
He's got 200 points left.
Like, he could base lock Badash. And if you've got no map control, like with setup teams, the one enduring feature about them is they're more effective if you have the map control. If you've got nothing to defend, they're kind of useless because they can get tied up when they're trying to maneuver into a position.
So Grunk's in tier 3, has the Fist of Brachus, has Emperor's Wrath coming on, so he's investing a lot in his hero. He's really going to have to make that work to pay off for all that resource expenditure.
And the flare going down, that saving the Chimera.
But the Chimera's just kind of sitting there. It needs to either move out of position or do something else.
Move forward. Should go straight forward.
That was almost a really nice combination right there, but it didn't quite connect if you saw. Used the explosive shot with the catechins and then tried to combine that with Emperor's Wrath. Unfortunately, while microing that, he didn't quite do what he needed to with his Chimera. Weird Boy about to explode over a bunch of guardsmen. Oh man. So I actually expected that to do damage to the catechins bomb and maybe blow that up too.
So did
I
I
was
actually,
scared.
but really the Chimera loss is far worse for the trade was far worse for Badash. Like, losing the Weird Boy was a big loss. The Chimera, easily rebought.
Yeah, I mean, the Weird Boy, like, luckily I don't think he had purchased any upgrades, but either way, like, you need to have that Weird Boy out. He's just, I mean, as we mentioned before in the last time we had Weird Boy versus Imperial Guard, you know, he's just so excellent against their makeup. Like, he's gonna do AoE damage, he's got a stun, he's got zap, like, he's just constantly going to be doing heavy, heavy damage to all of the lineup that Imperial Guard has to offer.
Well, more importantly, actually, Badash is wreck starved, and he can't rebuy that that easily. Whereas Grunk is a really nice and balanced economy.
It's a weird choice to put those dragon teeth up there. That's probably just going to get used by the shootables.
Mm-hmm.
Tank Buster Barrage knocking over that suppression team. Catechin's still trying to get in there and do some hurt. Lord Commissar charging in, hacking up shootaboys. And everybody's just kind of all spread apart. And getting a Lemon Rust tank. What do you think of that choice with the Ludas and the Tank Busters already out?
It's slightly questionable. I think a Kasrkin would have been better here. Like, genuinely, Kasrkin counters everything that Badash has right now. If Badash gets something that, like a Walker, then get out your Lehman Russ then. And then he's committed to keeping a Walker around, which is completely useless. But right now, it would be far more accurate to get Kasrkin's grenades, crazy range damage, take out everything. Oh, Weird Boy coming out again. Oh, that's a painful choice to have to make when... Oh, here we go, Kasrkins. There we go.
Oh, he did? Yeah, indeed.
They ain't marching anywhere.
Did he cancel the tank for that? Yeah, I guess
Yes, he did. It's a good choice. If I were Grunk, though, I would try to decap that wreck. Like, I don't know how I can... Can I ping to you? But yeah, the contested wreck. I think he should go for that just because right now... Like, Grunk has all the resources, Badash is wreck starved, stuck in T2. The way to emphasize that is by... I mean, early on in the game, it's best to deny power, but later on in the game, it's best to deny wreck, because everybody starts getting wreck starved. So, That's how you emphasize your opponent's weakness. Well, these Flamer GM are doing wonders, but are going to get hit by... Oh, no, good dodge.
So he does have those Casterkins out, but he still has plenty of resource left to do something else with if he wanted to. Like, as you mentioned, his economy is just sitting way prettier right now than Badash's. Ooh, nice connection there from the Weird Boy.
I would definitely get a Lehman Russ now, though. Just something that's cheap, forces your opponent... Like, use it on the defensive, don't use it, like, on the offensive, because in the end, Badash has to attack you. The onus is on him to take this middle VP, and if you just sit back, put the Lehman Russ at the back, even the Vanquisher, it will just hurt your opponent.
Right, I mean, the thing is with those beamy Ludas, like, they're not nearly as good at pushing forward to take out vehicles. They're a lot, you know, being a setup team, you want to have some map and then have them set up close somewhere and have a vehicle come into you. As you said, you know, Badash is being forced into the offensive here, and I mean, even before this Lehman Russ tank comes out, like, if he so chooses to do that.
Good decap foray. This is looking pretty ugly. Should just retreat here. There's no reason not to. If he wants to keep them, he can just use execute later. Yeah, I don't see any way back now. Badash needs to make a push right now with all or nothing, basically.
Yeah, and with the VPs ticking down this far, like even the heavy weapons team and the Catechins on their own, I feel like are going to be able to stall this out enough.
Yeah, good or reliable, but he needs to suppress the war boss now.
He does retarget, he gets him down just in time, but the Weird Boy does get the connection, knocks him back. But even so, there's nothing out here that's going to be able to take the map, I don't think.
Exactly. Good grenade going down.
Heavy weapons team.
Too much.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs to stay. I mean, he only needs to do is keep leading these VPs, even if he saves it 1v, he's not going to get a comeback.
Yep, it's 8 right there, and I think he's just, let's see, that was right on the line. Oh, blow up that bomb! Oh, there it goes.
only kills a shooter, but who cares?
I just wanted to see it happen. And he's gonna hold it at 2 VPs. Badash goes ahead and drops the GG. Takes his 2 points and runs home with it.
Or not, still going.
Oh.
here comes the truck. And now Lehman Russ is perfect.
But Grunk just kind of sitting on his laurels right there, not buying anything. I mean, there's no reason he needs to sit on those. I mean, what does he think he's gonna get, a Beyblade at this point?
Yeah, I know, right? But Flak Jacket's a bit wasteful. You should try to use that as a killing shot.
Well, he's made these big investments, and he did it last game too. He made these big investments in the Emperor's Wrath and the Fist of Brachus, and I just haven't seen either of those really pay off much.
Well, the main thing is that if he's using the Commissar as a line breaker, and Emperor's Wrath is effective if you use him in a support role or defensive role, not leading the line, because you can just focus him down and get rid of his energy, especially the way that he uses it, using it as his really expensive basic shield, and just drains all his energy away.
Right.
So he just never has the opportunity to use it. He needs to camp them right next to the heavy weapons team and then drop it slightly in their retreat path as they blob up and charge. Okay, good truck and Slugger's flank.
Got, there goes a nice one.
Ooh, ouch, that really hurts.
And there's a decap going down on the back line too, so this is pretty much going to be it. Those Sluggers aren't going to be able to hold this here.
Slugger needs war truck support if it's going to keep chasing there. And it's dead. No, it's dead.
Yeah, I think he kind of forgot about his war truck. His war truck is just sitting idle, and this time he drops the GG for real and hits the concede button. And
he was under a lot of pressure.